And welcome back to LycanStudios. How are you guys doing? As you can tell, I'm joined by my daughter Lila today. She's not feeling too great, so I figured I would just record this video and let her sit on my lap. But yeah, today we are going to be talking about a couple different things. The first thing, as you can tell in front of you, is we have a plot outline. I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. And the other thing is some prequel news. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I also do want to tell you guys that I will be streaming tonight around 7:30. We're going to be starting the What If Wednesday series. And as well, I also have another shout out for the video. Today's shout out goes to my man Celt for Life, or Kelt for Life. I'm pretty sure it's Celt. I think I asked him one time, but yeah, huge shout out to him. He's been here since the beginning, along with the rest of the shout outs we've gotten so far. You guys are just absolutely awesome. Make sure to tell him he's awesome, and thank you so much for the support, man. I really appreciate it. And of course, make sure to smash that thumbs up button if you do enjoy the video. Make sure to, yep, she's clapping for the thumbs up. But yeah, also make sure to answer the question of the video in the bars down below. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. But yeah, let's talk about what's on the screen. Well, Lila actually decided to hop down. I swear I'm not using her for views, even though she is absolutely adorable. She just hasn't been feeling well at all. So if you guys could leave us some good vibes in the comments as well. I just want her to feel better. There's nothing worse than having a sick kid, nothing worse. But anyways, so you guys may have known that I've been talking about it for a long time. I wanted to come up with some kind of plot outline, just kind of based on like the leaks we've gotten, the spoilers we've gotten and stuff like that, and just kind of the feel of season 8. So this is kind of what I've got. Sorry, I'm like stuttering a lot. This is kind of what I've got so far. Just a rough draft. I worked on it a little bit last night, but I was thinking about it. It was like, instead of me just doing it myself and filling in all the details that I think will happen, how about we do like a community outline? So basically we'll just kind of talk about this one real quick, and then we'll go through like a consensus of the comments and stuff, and we'll probably do it every now and then. We'll add to it, and we'll just move stuff around, and we'll get into deaths and everything, just big details and stuff. And yeah, at the end, before season 8 comes out, we will have a finished version of like a community outline. I think it'd be pretty cool. If you guys think that's cool, definitely let me know. And yeah, we'll start talking about it a little bit. So episode 1, I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to have some reunions at Winterfell. I'm sure Dany and Jon are going to show up. We'll have Jon and Arya, Jon and Bran. It's going to be awesome. And then of course, we've already seen the first meeting between Sansa and Dany. And yeah, she's not really bending the knee, but she kind of is if you think about it. Because I mean, what else is she going to do? There's nothing else she's going to do. I don't see it happening. So she didn't technically bend the knee, but Winterfell is now Dany's. Feel free to do whatever you want, basically. So if that's not really bending the knee, I don't really know what is, to be honest. Because, you know, if Cersei came to Winterfell, Sansa wouldn't be like, Winterfell is yours. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. So yeah, didn't officially bend the knee, but I would say it's probably going that way. But anyways, I'm sure the preparations will begin. I'm sure Bran will have some visions, you know, telling them that the Night King has broken through the wall at Eastwatch. And yeah, they're going to begin planning for war. Now, I also think at King's Landing, we will have the Golden Company arriving. I think it's just going to be kind of one of those things to help fill in with episode 1. Those are kind of my big points for episode 1. For episode 2, I think Jaime and Bronn will arrive with possible reinforcements. Now, if they are picking up reinforcements such as the Tullys, I think they will be showing that in episode 1 as well. But the big point for episode 2 is I think that's when they will arrive at Winterfell. I don't really think Jaime and Bronn will be showing up by themselves. I do think they will have some reinforcements, and it will kind of help further allow everyone to accept the fact that they're accepting Jaime's help, if that makes sense. Because I think if Jaime just showed up by himself, he might get turned down, honestly. But if Jaime shows up with Bronn and a bunch of reinforcements, how could they not accept his help? So then episode 2, I think we also have Bran and Sam telling Jon of his true parentage, that he's a Targaryen. I don't think it can really go any further than that. I hope not. Hopefully it'd be cool if it was episode 1. Like as soon as they get there, they're just like, oh yeah, Jon, by the way, you're a Targaryen. Like I want him to know as soon as possible, but I think episode 2 seems pretty plausible after they get all of the big reunions and stuff out of the way. What do you guys think? And then towards the end of episode 2, I do think they will initiate the Winterfell battle. Now, it's going to start getting crazy after this, but I think maybe towards the end of episode 2, they have like maybe some like scouting parties or something sent out, and that's how it's initiated. And then we get into episode 3, where the majority of it, I think, will be the Winterfell battle. Now, I'm super back and forth on this. This is where it gets pretty crazy. Episode 3. So, yeah, I'm kind of back and forth on this, but for right now, I'm going to go with this is where winter falls. Winterfell, winter falls. I'm going to say that the Night King is defeated at Winterfell. Now, this is, I don't know, this is just pure speculation on my point. If more of you guys think that he ends up going to King's Landing, definitely let me know and we'll switch it. But if the majority agrees with me, we will keep it. I still just think I'm back and forth on it so much. I do want the Night King to end up at King's Landing, but the name of Winterfell just sounds like where winter will end. And you guys know how symbolism plays a huge part in this. And my original thoughts were, just like when I first started thinking about it, was that the Night King will be defeated at Winterfell. So what do you guys think? I think the Winterfell battle will pretty much rage on through the entirety of episode 3, and maybe the Fiery Hand arrives. I think the Fiery Hand and, you know, Kinvara will come along with Melisandre, of course. And I think they play a huge part in stopping the Night King. So whenever the Night King is defeated, I think the Fiery Hand will come with him. So yeah, will that be episode 3? Will it be episode 5? Will it be episode 6? I'm not sure. Definitely let me know, because that's going to be one of the huge points of this outline. That's going to decide probably whether or not we get the majority of it right or not. And I would love to get it right. That would be awesome. So yeah, at the end of episode 3, I think the Night King is possibly defeated and Winterfell is still lost. It's just up in flames. The devastation is just too great, and they end up having to leave Winterfell. So with that being said, episode 4 is a little bit stale right now. I don't really have much for episode 4. That's kind of why I just threw in Theon and Euron, just because I feel like what else could be going down in episode 4? That's kind of a long time for Theon to be running around, like episodes 1 through 3, but I could almost see them not really putting a lot of time into him in the beginning. So if episode 4 is kind of about Theon and Euron, I think it would be pretty interesting. That's another huge point. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Theon will... I mean, it'll show Theon throughout the episodes, I'm sure, but like episode 1, he could get to like the Iron Islands. Episode 2, he could kind of be preparing everybody. Episode 3, they probably won't cover him as much just because the Winterfell battle's going down, but he could finally find Euron or something, maybe the Silence or whatever's going down. And then episode 4 could be where he ends up boarding it, or they just have a naval ship battle. I'm not too sure. But what do you guys think? Episode 4 is kind of a little bit stale for me right now, but I don't know. I think it's pretty solid so far. So episode 5, we do have another Sapochnik episode. So I do think that's when the King's Landing battle will go down. You know, we've seen it with ballistas up on the walls. We've seen it destroyed. We've seen gates destroyed. So we've seen a lot of things, and I do think a battle will go down there on episode 5. I also don't think it's going to last nearly as long as the Winterfell battle. I think it will be super intense. It's going to be super awesome, but I do think at the end of episode 5, the will be broken. I don't think Cersei will be dead yet, but I think the war will pretty much be won. What do you guys think? And then, of course, episode 6, I think that's when Cersei dies. I think she makes it all the way to episode 6. And then the other big thing that I could think of is that we have the birth of Jon and Dany's baby. Maybe a little bit skipping ahead in time, because I just don't see how the baby would be born in 1 through 5. It would be very interesting. I'm really excited to see that, but you got to think. We're pretty much looking at 9 months. How is that going to happen if they keep it realistic? If not, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, they did go pretty fast. They go pretty fast with a lot of things. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I think it would be pretty cool if the baby is born afterwards. And then, yeah, I'm not sure who will survive after that. Hopefully Dany doesn't die during childbirth. And yeah, you guys know that I'm kind of a stickler for Jon and Dany both surviving, which probably won't happen. I'll admit it. But yeah, I think after episode 6 and the birth of their baby, I think they maybe just kind of hopefully show a little bit about what the settling is like afterwards. But yeah, that's pretty much the outline that I have right now. Like I said, this is just a working draft, so I want your guys' opinion. We're gonna make this like a community outline, and hopefully have it pretty much perfect by the time season 8 airs. Now, I'm sure, I mean, I want to be right, but I really hope we're not. I hope they hit us with so many surprises and so many twists that there's just stuff we never even thought about. That would be absolutely perfect, but I do think it's fun to talk about this. What do you guys think is going to happen during season 8? I want to know everything. But yeah, be sure to answer the question in the video as well. And yeah, we're going to jump into the prequel. All right, so just catching up on some prequel news. You guys know I like to go straight to the source. So for today, we're going to Watchers on the Wall. The links will be in the description. But yeah, the first one is Game of Thrones spinoff to be filmed in the Canary Islands in Northern Ireland. The Long Night starts this spring. That is to say, the Game of Thrones spinoff with the unofficial working title, The Long Night, will begin production early this year in the Canary Islands and then move to Northern Ireland in the fall. According to Belfast Telegraph, staff at Paint Halls in Belfast, they're scheduled to spend spring filming the Game of Thrones prequel in Tenerife and Gran Canaria, two of the Canary Islands in Spain. Canaria, I would guess. Afterwards, production will return to Belfast in autumn. The Canary Islands were scouted as possible filming locations for season 7 and 8, though that didn't end up panning out. Quite understandably, many in Northern Ireland are happy that HBO will continue filming its Westerosi sagas in their country. It's great news for everyone involved in the film industry in Northern Ireland, said an anonymous industry source. If The Long Night is even half as successful as Game of Thrones, it will pump millions of pounds into the local economy. That's absolutely awesome. Just think of what Game of Thrones has done for that economy. It's absolutely crazy. And yeah, I think at this point, all we can really hope for is that The Long Night, if that's what it's called, is halfway as good as Game of Thrones. If it's half as good, I will be pleasantly surprised. Well, not surprised. I'll be pleasantly happy. Pleasantly happy. So the second and probably more important article, we have HBO announces the core cast members and director of Game of Thrones prequel pilot. It says HBO, look at that picture, she's so happy. HBO has announced the core cast and director of the Game of Thrones prequel, which we are currently and unofficially calling The Long Night. Fellow nerds, I recommend getting your Kermit arm flail, GIF, GIF, whatever you call it, ready before reading on. People get so butthurt when you say that wrong. I always call it a GIF just because I call it JPG, PNG, so I don't know, but yeah, we're going with GIF because I don't want to screw it up. Entertainment Weekly revealed that The Long Night's pilot episode will be directed by S.J. Clarkson, whose directorial credits include Orange is the New Black, Dexter, Bates Motel, and the pilot for Jessica Jones. She will also be directing the next Star Trek film, so she's got some serious credibility. Orange is the New Black, I've heard great things about it. I've watched a couple seasons, not too bad. Dexter was freaking amazing until the end. Bates Motel and Jessica Jones, I've never seen, but I've heard great things about. Furthermore, 8 actors more have been added to the cast list, bringing the total number of known cast members up to 10. Josh Whitehouse and Naomi Watts were previously announced as the show leads, which I'm sure we already knew that. So next up we have Naomi Ackie. The British actress previously appeared in 2017's Lady Macbeth and also has an upcoming role in Star Wars Episode 9. Then we have Denise Goff? I'm sorry, I'm sucky with names. But anyways, Denise, though she's best known for her stage performances in Angels in America and People, Places, and Things, Goff also portrayed Marquise de Belleboeuf in last year's film Colette. I'm terrible with English. I'm from Southern West Virginia. I barely speak English as it is. I apologize. I apologize. That's all I can say because I'm probably going to get roasted. Sheila Adam is next. You might have seen her as Limehouse Nell on Hulu's Harlots, but she also played several characters in the Donmar Warehouse's film called All-Female Shakespeare Trilogy. Next up, we have Ivano Jeremiah. The British actor will appear in the upcoming film The Flood. You can also see him on Netflix's Black Mirror and AMC's Humans. And this one was pretty cool. I thought she looked super familiar, but anyways, we have Georgie Henley. The 23-year-old actress is still probably best known for playing Lucy in the film adaptations of C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia. Narnia? I don't know if I'm going to leave that in there or not. The Chronicles of Narnia. Hopefully, her role in The Long Night, as well as Starz' upcoming series, The Spanish Princess, will help her establish herself as an adult actress in her own right. That's crazy. She still kind of looks the same. Obviously is older, but she's still got the same face. That's a huge pickup, I do think. And then we have Alex Sharp. The stage actor won a Tony Award in 2015 for his lead role in The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. She's back. But anyways, then we have Tony Regbo, I'm pretty sure. He played young Albus Dumbledore in last year's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and Athelred, I think is how you say it, in The Last Kingdom. But perhaps his most Game of Thrones-y role to date was as the tragic Prince Francis on Starz' Reign. So then we have Jamie Campbell Bower, the second Fantastic Beasts alum to be cast in The Long Night. He also played King Arthur on Starz' Camelot. He was also the silver-voiced sailor Anthony in Tim Burton's adaptation of Sweeney Todd. If we get any more songs from A Song of Ice and Fire set to music in The Long Night, I wouldn't mind if Campbell Bower is chosen to sing them. What are you doing? I think she's trying to make animal noises. Can you say "sss" like a snake? Good job. By the way, Campbell played Sir Waymond Royce in the unaired Game of Thrones pilot. Very, very interesting. Though he was recast for the reshoots and we never ended up seeing him in the show, he's got a second chance now. Though very little is known about the plot or the characters, it certainly looks like through The Long Night... I can't even focus. Though very little is known about the plot or the characters, it certainly looks as though The Long Night will be a more racially diverse and female-centered show than Game of Thrones, which, as others have long pointed out, has always featured an overwhelmingly white cast. Now, I've actually seen on Twitter, some people are getting pretty heated about that, so we're not even really going to talk about it. I think it's pretty cool, but That's all I'm going to say. As clearly tempting as it is to speculate, I don't know why she's looking at me like that, who these actors might be playing, all Dumbledore, Grindelwald comments aside, do Campbell Bower and Regbo look enough alike to play brothers, or is that just me? We have to remember that the Long Night, or whatever the official title will be, will take place in a fundamentally different Planetos than we're familiar with. There's no King's Landing, there's no Iron Throne, there are no Targaryens, Valyria has hardly begun to rise yet with its dragons and the great empire that it built, George R.R. Martin told EW back in November. We're dealing with a different and older world, and hopefully that will be part of the fun of the series. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I really think that's about the only way they could go with this. If they came too close to Game of Thrones, it would just be a huge bust. So the fact that we can get into something that is going to be different, kind of still just riding the Game of Thrones title and obviously Westeros, I think it's perfect. But nonetheless, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button. You gonna clap? Good job. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button if you did enjoy the video. Answer the question of the video in the bar below. And yeah, check out the Patreon, the Twitter, the Facebook, all that great stuff. And the Snapchat in the, she's making me laugh. But anyways, I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. This has been LycanStudios. Make sure to do all that I just told you about. And we will be having a Q&A soon. So if you do want to leave me a question, definitely do it. But anyways, peace. Can you say bye-bye? Bye-bye. Oh, her voice is so sick.